Hi guys, welcome back to Too Cool for Middle School. Happy kind of end of the year-ish time. It definitely feels really strange this year. While I'm filming this, it is Memorial Day weekend, so next week we have just like a 4-day week, and then I think the week after that we have a 3-day week, and then I think we're done. My sense of time is a little off, but we don't have much time left. So last week, I believe, was our last full week of teaching, and it went fine. Like it was pretty good. So I thought I would just go over the things that we did in case you still have a little bit of time left or you want to save some ideas for next year. I feel like my standard of what is a good week has adjusted a little bit, but by the end of it, my kids had turned in some pretty cool projects. So I'm going to show you those projects at the end of the video. So before I get into all of that, we have another really fun sponsor today. I've been seeing some of my friends sign their kids up for Outschool classes over the summer. Another really sad consequence of this whole pandemic that we can't really do like summer programs and summer camps and stuff this year because it's such a good time to spend a little bit more time on those things that you're really interested in. During the school year, you don't always get to spend time actually studying the things that you're interested in, but during the summertime you get to pick. And Outschool has, I can't believe this, but they have over 15,000 different classes that kids can choose from, and the classes are done through video chat with a teacher and a bunch of other kids. So our students are kind of used to this format now. So the adjustment period of, doing a class online will probably be really quick, but they get to choose what they want to do. I bought this like super gigantic velvet scrunchie at Target yesterday, and I'm really feeling it, not gonna lie. Anyway, I was looking on the Outschool website and I was just thinking about how cool this would have been if I had had this when I was in like middle or high school, because there was never like a history summer camp. So I looked up all of the history classes that you can take, and there are a ton, but some that seem really cool are History of Ancient Egypt. That's a section that kids are always really interested in during the traditional school year with me, but we always have to move on eventually. But I could see a ton of my students wanting to take a whole class just on the history of Egypt and like going deeper into that content. So that's really cool that they can do that. This one, it's called a flex class, and it's Zelda and World Mythology. It includes bosses and friends from all of the Zelda games and explores myths from America, Asia, Africa, Australia, and Europe, including Greek mythology. Really interesting. There's a stock market simulation course. Explore Africa. Ooh, can you survive the Oregon Trail? I miss that game so much. Is there any way to still play it? I would really like to play that game. Or just take this course, I guess. Ooh, you can create your own country. Harry Potter and Hitler, World War II, the Holocaust, and the Wizarding World. In this one, you explore how the Harry Potter series and Fantastic Beasts movies were influenced by the historical events surrounding Adolf Hitler, World War II, and the Holocaust. Very interesting. Oh, this one is the FBI, what you need to know about the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Sparta versus Athens. Ooh, Pokemon mythology and culture. So explore which Pokemon are inspired by Japanese culture and mythology in this 4-week course. And I'm just looking at all the history ones, but obviously they have a ton of others. So there's like arts, English, you could do like creative writing, life skills, music. I do love the music ones. Coding and tech, health and wellness, math, science and nature, world languages, a bunch of them on like Minecraft. So if you have kids or your friends have kids, this could be a really cool thing for them to do over the summer. And you can do this from anywhere. So if you do happen to go somewhere, I don't know exactly how things are going to pan out over the summer, but maybe if you're sheltering in place somewhere else for a week or two, your kids could still take the classes because they're online, so they can do them from anywhere. I do have a link in the description, and there'll be instructions to where you can get a $20 refund. So $20 off of a class by mentioning that I referred you over there. You just send your order number to Outschool and then they refund you that 20 bucks. So it ends up being a really good deal. I mean, it says that the classes are for kids ages 3 to 18, but like, I kind of want to take the Pokemon one or the Harry Potter one. Maybe they'll let me in. So anyway, back to the online classes that I am teaching right now for my 8th grade English classes. This week we were focusing on informational text and biography in particular. So I always make them a weekly schedule because I just feel like it's useful for them to be able to kind of see the week at a glance, especially considering the fact that they have 6 other classes besides mine and they just need to kind of know where to put their energy each day. So I have the weekly schedule, and then I also post my daily slides for them, which, you know, we've done for a couple of years. So they're very used to those, but that's just kind of like somewhere where they can double check. Like they just look at today's agenda, like, did I do everything? Okay, cool. So I've still been making YouTube videos for them over the weekend. So my kind of like planning schedule is I do all of my planning on Saturday, then I make videos explaining the week's lesson on Sunday, and then I post them on Monday so that kids can get started. So that was like the first thing that they were supposed to do on Monday was watch the YouTube video. And then on Newsella, they read an article about Yuri Kochiyama. I just bought another book about her. Oh, there it is. Here it is right here. So I am looking forward to reading much more about her life. She is Japanese American. She was an activist during the civil rights era. She was interned before that in an internment camp for being Japanese American. And I'm just really interested to know more about her life. So there is a really good article about her on Newsella, so my students read that. And then over on Google Classroom, they just answered a question about what they learned either about her or just about the world through her story. So while we were focusing on biography this week, since it is the month of May and it's Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, we were also specifically focusing on biographies of Asian Americans. So I wanted them to get to see how this is done in multiple forms. So on Monday, they read about an activist. Then on Tuesday, they had the option of 3 different things that they could watch that incorporated biography. So they could either watch an episode of the Asian Americans documentary on PBS, which I highly, highly recommend. It's so good. I think that there are 5 episodes altogether, and it's pretty much chronological. Like the first episode is about a lot of people during like the 1800s and building the railroad and stuff like that. And then the last episode is a little more current. So students could choose any one of those episodes. They're about an hour long, or they could watch the movie Mao's Last Dancer on YouTube. It's free on YouTube. It's really good, and it helps you to understand a little bit more about the Chinese government during like this one takes place in kind of like the 80s. So it's after Mao's death, but the Communist Party is definitely still very, very powerful. They're opening up to the West a little bit more. So this ballet dancer named Lee is able to come to Houston and study ballet. And this is a true story, of course, and there's just like amazing ballet dancing in it. The girl from Center Stage is in it. So if that one was more along the lines of their interest, students could watch that one. And then the third one that I linked for them was Go for Broke, which is also available on YouTube. And that is one of my favorite movies of all time. It's in black and white. It was made in like the 50s, which kind of surprises me. It has like a majority Japanese American cast. It tells the story of the 442nd Regimental Unit, like really from their perspective. It's funny, it's heartbreaking. I think the script is really good. It's just really, really well done. And it reminds you that we are not the first like generation of people to ever try to make progress in the area of like diversity in the cinema or whatever. So anyway, that one's really good. They could choose their option, and then they also just like checked in with me on Google Classroom and just did a little bit of an analysis of how that movie or documentary told someone's story, like how they did biography, how they were able to keep your attention, what techniques they used, what types of details they included, etc. So that when students later were going to write their own biographies, they would have a little bit of a reference point. So they had read something, they had watched something. Also on Tuesday, we have like office hours, so I'm just there available for students in case they have any questions or need anything. So it's pretty chill. I don't have anything like revolutionary to say about like Zoom calls or Google Meet calls or whatever. I know people are doing like really cool things with them. My husband this week actually did like a scavenger hunt with his kids. He has elementary PE students, and he did a scavenger hunt. He said it was really, really fun. Like he would just say like, okay, go grab like your toothbrush, and they would have to go get it, and the first person to come back would like get a point, or like go find some honey or something orange or whatever. So he said that was really fun, and he's been doing like workouts with them twice a week, I think. So people are doing all different kinds of stuff. I actually had a little bit more interesting Zoom call with my history students this week, so I'll tell you about that in just a second. Okay, so then on Thursday, it was just a writing day for them. I just asked them to write a 3-paragraph biography of any influential Asian American and include 3 references. We didn't really get into the whole like MLA formatting of the works cited or anything. I just did not have the energy for that. My priorities right now are not there. So I was like, just tell me what sources you used. Just make a list, whatever, it's fine. And then on Friday, so that was yesterday, they just had to create an Instagram story frame of this influential Asian American with like a picture of them and just the basic information about them. So one thing that like historians forget sometimes is that like no one is going to read your thesis, but like your information, the research that you did is probably really important. So you have to find a way to maybe like write that longer piece of research, but then also like share this information in a concise way. So my English students, they did their little bit longer like biography research paper thing. So they're writing informational text. We're still getting our standards in. But then they also created just this shorter, quicker method of communication because it's important really to be able to do both. So they could really do this any way that they wanted to, but I linked canva.com for them. And Canva is a free design website and they have templates. So you can find like Instagram story templates that are already really cute, and they have like different fonts in there and just all kinds of just really pretty design. So I told them they could just use that and then put their own information in there and then turn it into me. And it was really interesting to see the different people that they chose and the information that they chose to share about them and the pictures and everything. So I will show you all of those at the end because I think they did a really good job. And my 6th grade history students did the same little Instagram stories project this week too. So we are studying ancient Rome, but then we were putting our historical skills into practice by studying an influential Asian American as well. So they kind of had like 2 different topics going on this week. And one other resource I wanted to share with you is this book. It's very new. It just came out like a couple days ago. It's called Asian Americans Who Inspire Us. And this is of course more for like an elementary school classroom. It has a lot of really nice pictures and it's written nice and simply, but the information in this is very good. It's like 100 pages long and I did read like from cover to cover and I learned a lot about all of these different people. The episode about Patsy Mink in the Asian Americans documentary on PBS is really, really good. So just everything in here is great. That documentary is great. I mean, I used to not be a big fan of like months like Black History Month, Asian American Pacific Islander Heritage Month, just because I thought it felt a little like pandering and people would just kind of like check off the box like, okay, I taught this now, I taught this now. But I don't know, May 2020 has been great for incredible like art about Asian American history. My friends released their short film called Finding Cleveland about the Chinese in Mississippi. I got to watch that and do like a Zoom call and hear about like the whole history behind it, and then the Asian Americans documentary on PBS that I've just been talking about constantly. One of my coworkers was involved in writing the curriculum that is going to go along with that project. So I've like known about it for a long time, and I got to do a Zoom call with her and some of the historians that they interviewed for that documentary series. And that was just all like amazing. And then like this book is amazing. This month I also read Wild Swans. I have a whole video about like books that you can read during the month of May just to educate yourself more about Asian American history. And so like it is just a good time to like stop and focus on one topic. I'm literally surrounded by books. Like it's almost as if I'm building myself like a book fortress right here. Like one day I'm not going to be able to get out. So I have, you know, so many different like options of things to read and things to study. And even like as a teacher, like so many different texts and topics that you could assign to students. So sometimes just like having a month chosen for you helps you to narrow in on a topic and just like focus on that for a little while. So I'm becoming a fan. Now I guess I really like it. And the majority of the students at my school are Asian American, and so my coworker that worked on that curriculum, she teaches history, and so she has been teaching about like Chinese immigration, and she has real documents from her family, like her grandfather was a paper son when he came through Angel Island, and she was telling me that this has been like the best week of remote learning. Like she's done all these extra Zooms, and they've been even longer than they were supposed to be, and students have been really engaged because we're actually focusing on stories that they relate to, I guess. We're like, I don't know if it's that or that they finally kind of figured out this online learning thing or what, but we are both noticing a lot more engagement and like them doing a better job on like these Instagram stories projects, for example. So anyway, whether or not it's a little bit pandering, it gave us a great excuse to focus on Asian American stories, and it's been awesome. So for my 6th graders for history on Monday, Jensen's gonna join us. Who is that?
A screenslaver.
Screenslaver.
And this guy.
Who is that?
The underminer.
The underminer.
And back at his cape.
Oh, he has a cape on his back?
Yeah, and on the top is a foot.
His feet.
No, a foot.
Oh, a foot. Okay.
Mommy,
Uh-huh.
I can get.
What was I saying? Oh yeah, I used those, what are they called? The big fat notebooks that I had talked about like a couple videos ago. I did get the one for world history, and so I just took pictures with my phone and like made sure they were really clear and everything, like good lighting and all of that, and I put them on Google Classroom so my students could read through the ancient Rome section. We don't even have textbooks right now. They returned the textbooks that they did have, but we weren't even using those because we were in the middle of a textbook pilot. So anyway, that was a nice little like quick thing to share with them, and they answered some questions on it and stuff. And then Tuesday was a really cool day. And who is this?
The car.
Tekka! Awesome.
But I don't back to the steam.
Oh, steam?
Yeah, a steam.
Oh, from the volcano?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back at the one, there's a hand.
Yeah, his hand.
And when at the top is his face.
His face. Oh my gosh, so cool.
And it's more toys.
Okay, so Tuesday we had our regular Zoom call. So my students came in and it was a virtual field trip to the Coliseum. So we used a Nearpod lesson that was already pre-made. So I went through it ahead of time just to like make sure I knew what was coming up. And then like within that Nearpod lesson, they had these like virtual reality tours of the Coliseum. But then throughout it, you're like learning all of this information about how it was built, what it was used for, how it was useful for like politicians and propaganda and like sports, really. It was just really, really fun. So I'm thinking that next year I'm probably gonna rely on Nearpod quite a bit because that was just a really effective way to do a live lesson together. Oh, do you have another one to show us? What is that?
The Maui hook.
A Maui hook, cool.
No.
And you have something else?
Maui.
And Maui, nice. Okay, so the Zoom call was really, really fun on Tuesday, and then on Wednesday, they had some questions due from the reading that they did on Monday about ancient Rome. Those first 3 days were pretty Rome heavy. Oh, and Thursday, they also read an article on Newsella about all of the lasting impacts that the Roman Republic has on our society today.
Another Maui.
Another Maui, great.
The Maui hook.
Yes, and the Maui hook.
In the back, and there's Danka.
Tekka on his tattoos, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Okay, so
One
clearly I
and
need to finish this up. I've been
one
filming for too
is
long.
The Maui and another Tekka.
Another Tekka, yeah.
And one on the one is Billy, and there's the rope.
Yes.
And we have.
He's got a lot of stuff. Okay, so Friday, the 6th graders had the same assignment due. They didn't have to write the 3-paragraph report thing, but they just did the Instagram story frame. And most of them don't have like Instagram as an app, so it was good that we could use Canva for that so that they could just download that and send it to me. And then I had them not put their names on it. Like I can tell whose it is as it comes in through Google Classroom, but I'm gonna share them on Instagram just so that, you know, the work that they did actually gets seen and, you know, they have an impact with their research. So anyway, it was a pretty good week. Next May, if we are back in the classroom again, I really hope that we are by then, I would definitely do something similar, and it would be even better to like have this done in person and they could like present their projects and stuff like that. So yeah, hopefully that will be the case. Anyways, I hope you are having a good week as well. Don't forget to check out Outschool if that's something that could be useful for you and your kids this summer. Thank you so much for watching, and I will leave you with my students' projects.